And welcome back to the show. I'm Bob Lorenz. For 30 years, professional surfing has been a loose association of organizers, promoters, sponsors, and surfers held together by the Association of Surfing Professionals. ASP served mostly as a rankings calculator for the surfers who are part owners of the association, along with partners from surfing-related brands such as Quicksilver, Billabong, Rip Curl, and Vans. And while the number of surfers on beaches around the world has increased, the ASP was unable to capitalize and struggled financially. In 2013, Zosea Media Holdings proposed that they take over the ASP, raise the prize money, and start a pension for the surfers, while paying nothing for the acquisition. The proposal was approved, and now one company has centralized ownership and management of ASP, as well as its media rights. The question remains, can surfing go mainstream as a globally centralized sports league? Michael Ozanian spoke with ASP CEO Paul Speaker to try and find out the answer.
Paul, is professional surfing a unknown gem, sort of the way mixed martial arts was maybe 10 years ago?
Mike, I think that's a pretty good analogy. I think that the difference in our sports are that they can schedule a time and people can tune in and then have a begin and an end time. They're also in stadiums, so it's a little bit easier. But what happened, I think, over the course of the last 30 years is that technology caught up to be able to deliver live broadcast to the experience. And we started to see a rabid fan base that finally could come and have a home at ASPWorldTour.com where we could actually show the live broadcast. So I think it's certainly something that is a diamond in the rough, and we're working hard to see if we can polish it up.
Right after you bought it, you announced a three-pronged strategy: media, social, and digital.
Yes.
How are you going to make that work?
We're in the process. I mean, we're 6 months into our first season. Made some pretty good strides, I think, on the production side. So if we had broke those down into the three, on the broadcast side, the media side, we've done a tremendous amount of deals, both in the U.S. as well as internationally. So we've got a ESPN ABC deal for our highlight show that comes out right after our live events. We've got a Google YouTube relationship that actually drives our live broadcast and is a home for that. And then internationally, we've got, we're covered in Brazil, we're covered in France, we're covered in places that Australia with Fuel TV, we're covered in places that our fan base exists. I think social, we've realized, a 55% increase year over year in our social engagement. We've got a really rabid fan base that's incredibly excited about not only dealing with us and communicating with us and reading what we have sent out and obviously engaging in the live broadcast, but also with each other. So we see that 2.5 times socially more engaged than other sports fans. We're Facebook at 10 times UFC and 10 times the NFL as it relates to Facebook engagement. So there is a pretty significant fan base that already has been communicating. We just needed to give them a place to kind of hang out. And last is that we were really concentrating on that bringing the distribution up to standards, and that's a digital distribution platform. We're the #1 live broadcaster of live sport as a producer on the planet. So we produce more live sports than anybody else. Our events, when they run, are 10-hour days. So we have a morning show in the morning. We go full 10 hours. Same production crew, commentators moving back in and out. We do that 20 sometimes a year. So compare that to the NFL with a Monday Night Football or the such. And then you get to a place where we needed to make sure that we could get compelling and interesting content from the beach up to a satellite and down. So the digital platform is one that working with Google constantly to make sure that we're at really the cutting edge of delivery and the cutting edge of broadcast production.
Now, when you were at Quicksilver, you were on the board there.
I was on the board at Quicksilver, yes,
so you're very familiar with sportswear relating
Sure.
to outdoor sports like surfing and skateboarding. Was that the point where you said, you know what, professional surfing could be a much bigger business than it is right now?
Absolutely, and I think a couple things. The size of the market is huge. I mean, I think some of those companies have had fits and starts in the last 10 years, like every company. But there's been new companies coming in, but it's billions and billions of dollars. People in the middle of Chicago are wearing Quicksilver or Billabong or Rip Curl attire and saying, hey, I am a proud surfer even though I stand up paddle in Lake Michigan. So I think the surf culture is a really important thing. I also find that there is not many business opportunities where you can take a fragmented sport, as you had said. Look at it as something that is disconnected, where there is a number of owners of events, and then bring them all together and also have a rabid fan base that is really digitally savvy and coming together in one home for the first time. It just doesn't exist. This opportunity in sports business does not exist anywhere else. You don't have a place where there is truly a global sport. You don't have an ownership team that owns not only production but events, a relationship with the athletes, and full archive rights of the entire tour. And you don't have the absolute ownership of all your distribution infrastructure. So it doesn't exist anywhere else. You would have to shop at 5 different places to have that same realization with the NFL or Major League Baseball.